So we've got a DAF LF to have a look at today. Apparently it's got engine warning, exhaust system warning, AdBlue dosing, the usual LF stuff. So we'll hop in the cab, confirm the customer's concern and see what else is going on. Right, sing for me. So we've got coolant level sensor malfunction, engine malfunction. Oh, just the two at the moment then. We'll get a jaltest from Eclipse Diagnostics plugged in now, see what's going on. Awesome. Right, let's get her plugged in. We've got our powers, grounds and our CAN communication on our OBD pass-through pin checker. Let's see what's going on with this LF today, eh? We'll do auto VIN identification. We'll jump straight into engine, which is ECSDC6, and we'll check out our engine warning. Fault code reading. So we've got a couple of fault codes here. We've got differential pressure sensor for the EGR, valid data but below normal operating range. We've got a knock sensor after the CAT, a heat up time error. We've got a DPF regeneration inhibition fault and our coolant fluid level sensor, low voltage or short circuit to ground. Well, I think the coolant level sensor is going to be the actual sensor itself, but we'll check this out now. And then we'll have a quick look at these other faults and see if they're causing us an issue as well. So, what we got going on with the fluid level sensor. We'll just go to our information tab here and see information about the component. As you can see, it's 2 pins. We've got some resistance values here and we can display the measurements. We'll just go to this view here. There we go. So, coolant fluid level apparently is normal. It's not insufficient and it's not low. So what we'll go and do, I think, is we'll go and check the level and unplug it. So we'll just check our coolant level sensor now, or not. That'll be why there's an issue with the coolant level sensor. Ah. Who would do this? Because this is going to fix it. What's that? 3270? Is this that? We'll jump back on jaltest and have a look at our wiring diagrams. So what we'll do now is have a look on Info Plus. This will give us our dealer diagrams and we can use 3270 to match up the component, which I'm hoping is going to be the coolant level sensor. What we can then do is give the customer the option of either putting a coolant level sensor in as it should be, which is what I'd prefer to do from DAF, or we could resist the wiring to emulate the correct coolant level, which will cost pence. So knowing a customer, it's going to be the pence option, isn't it? So let's have a look on jaltest now. Let's find 3270. So we'll go to diagrams. We want model wiring diagrams, which is our online diagrams. This will give us our wiring numbers. Now I think it's the coolant level sensor, so we'll put in coolant. We'll go to the level sensor and hopefully this will give us 3270. Now jaltest has already highlighted our coolant level sensor over here. And sure enough, 3270, pin number 2 to A35 on the engine ECU is our wire that we've got there. So we can definitely say that both of the 2 wires that somebody's put a heat shrink in, thinking it would fix it, is the issue. We'll go and speak to the customer now, see what he wants to do about fixing this component. Well, we knew where this was going, didn't we? 120 and a 10 ohm resistor. Right, let's fit these to the truck. Well, that's our repair done now. Let's go check the dash and see what's going on there. Well, I think all we've got here is transmission air pressure low. That's always a winner. Let's go check jaltest. So as you can see, our fault is currently active. Coolant level sensor. So we'll just refresh these faults. And there we go. They have now gone to inactive. So we'll just tidy the front up now so the wiring's all nicely put away. We'll get the customer to go and take it for a road test now, because we need to know if the EGR system's got an issue, if the NOx aftercat's got an issue, and to see if everything else is okay, basically. So we'll give this back to the customer, and we'll go to our next job. So we've got a DAF LF Euro 6 to do today. The chassis has been shortened, and now it won't start. So we'll hop in the cab, see what's going on with this, and see if we can figure out why it won't start. The customer's had an electrician out to this already, and they can't get it going, so they've asked me to come and have a look. So we'll throw the ignition on, see what faults we've got. So we've got transmission malfunction here, and also we haven't got N. So to me, we've got a power pack issue here. So we'll jump onto jaltest from Eclipse Diagnostics and have a look at the fault codes, I think. We've only got 18 volts, that's why we've got a low battery alarm, but we'll see how we get on. So we'll do auto VIN identification. Now we're in the truck, we'll just go to Gearbox and we'll do AS-tronic light, because it's an LF. For some reason we can't talk to the gearbox. So, seeing as we've got no communication with the gearbox, that can only mean two things, really. We've got a power supply issue, or there's a communication issue. So we'll jump onto diagrams now and try and identify our wiring to our plugs. So we'll go to diagrams, and from here we can look at our ECU diagrams on our power pack. So we'll just zoom into this a bit. So we've got CAN communication here from the vehicle, and we've got some powers and grounds. So to start with, we'll go and check our fuses. We want E414 and E415, and also E144. So where's E415? Well, if we double click on that, we can go to our fuse and relay box diagram. And as you can see from the diagram, down here on the left hand side, we've got E415 flashing. So we'll go and check that now, and we'll also find out where E414 is. As for our main power supply to plug B, pins 1 and 2, pin 1 being the power supply from the batteries, we'll go to the batteries and check the fuse for that as well. So we'll just start these fuses here. As you can see, P7 is gearbox, so we'll just check that fuse now. We'll use the old test light. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. We better throw ourselves under the truck. As for our other fuse, E145, we'll just check that now. We've got power there, and we've got power there. So this is most probably at the plug. These are the powers and grounds from the battery. We'll be checking them, and also our plug here with this dodgy looking heat shrink connector. That looks like it's been pierced and burst with corrosion, so we might have high resistance at this plug here on that connector. And we'll also check our CAN and our grounds. So let's get the test light out. So we'll just rule this back plug out first. Let's get this off the power pack. Two massive terminals in here. We'll just test them now. I've got 24 volts there, so that's fine. Let's go to the other plug on the gearbox. Let's try and get this off. Hopefully this slides off here. And is it going to come off? Yes. So now our plug's off. We can check pins 12 and 15. These are the ones from fuse 414, I think it was. So we've got 24 volts there and nothing on pin 12, which is the wire that leads through to our broken heat shrink here. Right, let's get this plug back on and go and see if it goes into N. Nope, still no N. Oh dear. Well, this isn't looking good. We've got powers, grounds and CAN at the plugs, but no communication with ECU. So we'll go and plug a spare in, see if we've got comms then. So we've got our new donor AS-tronic light power pack plugged in. We'll go jump on jaltest now and see if we've got communication. Back on jaltest now, and we can try our AS-tronic light ECU again, and we're straight into the ECU here. We can go into fault codes, and I've just gone into the ECU data here to show the different chassis numbers. We can use our monitoring data to check the power supply data to the ECU, but then if this was insufficient, we wouldn't be talking to the ECU, would we? As far as I'm concerned, this needs an ECU replacement or repair, so I best put this to the customer. So we got a DAF LF to have a look at today in this beautiful weather. Reported gearbox malfunction, so we'll jump in the cab, confirm the customer's concern and see what's going on. Right, let's get this ignition on, see what's happening. I think we'll put this here so we can see the dash a bit better. So, we've got brake system shock malfunction. And that's it. We're in neutral here, which is always good, which means the system's primed because it's AS-tronic light. We'll start the truck up and see if we can get it in gear. Right, so she's gone back into neutral. Will it go into drive? No. See the speedo's bobbing up and down? And it won't go into drive. Now it's gone into drive. Will it go into reverse? Right, so she's gone into reverse. I think we'll get jaltest plugged in and see what faults we've got. So we've got jaltest from Eclipse Diagnostics plugged in now. We've got our powers, grounds and CAN from our OBD pass-through pin checker. So the big question is, what's going on with our LF? Well, we'll jump onto jaltest now and see what's going on. We'll do auto VIN identification, the simplest and easiest way to find out what truck it is without me clicking through a bunch of buttons. From here we'll just go to Gearbox because that's where the problem is. We want AS-tronic light because that's what it is on an LF. So now we're in AS-tronic light, we'll go into fault code reading and see what's going on here. So straight away we've got a accumulator leakage operation failure. What else have we got here? Well, that was the gearbox priming. So we've had wheel relative signal, rear axle left hand side incorrect signal. That will be the ABS fault. So I think we'll concentrate on this accumulator leakage operation failure. Now, what is an accumulator? Well, the accumulator is this big round thing on the side that's meant to maintain pressure in the gearbox, and it's saying it's leaking. So what we'll do is we'll go to measurements, measurement selection, and we'll throw up our pressures. Let's see how fast this is coming down. What we'll do is we'll just have a quick look at the gearbox now, see if we can hear the gearbox priming. So our accumulator leakage is actually our gearbox having to keep topping itself up with pressure all the time. I'm sure there's a bulletin on this on DAF, so we'll hop onto OEM RMI now and have a look. So we'll go to OEM RMI. We'll just select the vehicle manually. I don't know, 2017 DAF LF. There we go, search. That should do us. So what we'll do now is we'll go into bulletins, because I'm sure there's a bulletin to do with the power pack. Power pack, there we go. So we've got a nice bulletin here from DAF, basically saying that the software tolerances for the pressure sensor are too stringent. Vehicles built before 0L45 replace the power pack. For vehicles built after 0L45, which is ours because ours was made in 47, check if the latest software is installed. It won't be. If not, install the latest software, so we'll have to use central services for that, and replace the power pack pressure release valve. That's the part number there. Ensure the power pack area around the valve is clean, blah, 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 blah. Tighten it to 12 Newton meters. Repressurize the power pack system. If the vehicle is still unable to change gears after performing this repair, replace the power pack. Well, we won't be replacing the power pack. We'll send it for a repair, basically. So we'll change the pressure release valve now. We'll repressurize the hydraulic system with the repair kit, and we'll see what happens from there. So we'll have this ignition off. We're going to have to depressurize the system in order to change our pressure release valve, so that means just cracking it off. We'll get the cab over and see how much access we've got to this pressure release valve and the power pack. If you're wondering why I keep looking up, that's why. Well, the cab's over. Doesn't this look like a nice change? Actually have access. Whatever next. So our potentially faulty pressure release valve would be here. We'll get this unscrewed now, depressurize the system, swap it out. Always take the lid off. Never in a million years do you work, pressurize, depressurize, do any sort of work on these without taking this off, because it'll crack the tank. So that's loose. So we'll just whip it out. Right, we can get our Allen key in here now and depressurize the system. See it filling the fluid reservoir up. So that's been depressurized now. You can do it on jaltest, but we're changing this part anyway. So we'll get our new pressure release valve fitted in here now. That feels like 12 Newton meters. Right, let's go turn the ignition on. You'll see the fluid level drop down, and then we can check on jaltest if the pressure's still dropping. Right, let's just pop this float back in here. So what we'll do now is we'll ring Eclipse Diagnostics, book a slot with Central Services, get the software updated on this, and see how we go. So Central Services have just updated our software. What we'll do now is go back into AS-Tronic. We can monitor the pressures on the gearbox and see if our software alteration and our new pressure release valve has fixed the fault, or whether we do actually need to get a new AS-Tronic Lite power pack. So let's get back into AS-Tronic Lite ECU. So we'll go to AS-Tronic Lite again. So now we're back in our gearbox. We'll go to measurements, measurement selection, and what we want is pressures again. The only thing in pressure in this is transmission pressure. So is it maintaining our transmission pressure, or are we losing it? That's the big question. So looking at our transmission pressure now for the power pack, it's dropping down way too fast. I'd say the repair kit and the software update hasn't fixed it, so we'll just have to go with replacing the power pack now, or in our case, getting it repaired. So we'll depressurize it through jaltest this time instead of just unscrewing it, and then yeah, we'll get all the pipes off and the bolts out of it and send it away. So we'll go back to our diagnostic menu. This time we'll go to maintenance and pressure reduction. We're going to do system purge. What this will do will drop the pressure out the system. This is so we can work on the system, i.e. take the pipes off it. We'll just click accept, and you'll see the pressure now reduced from 69.8 bar down to 2 or nothing basically. As you can see, Jaltest has just thrown up a technical release about our sudden changes in pressure when purging or pressurizing the system, because the last thing you want to do, like I said before, is leave the lid on one of these things. So that's still cracked off. We'll continue and see what happens. As you can see, the system pressure is now being reduced and the process is finished. So that's it. This system is now safe to work on. So we've got 4 pipes to undo here and a couple of bolts. I think there's 6 bolts or 5 bolts, I can never remember. And 3 electrical connectors on the bottom. So let's get into this. So now we've got our AS-tronic light power pack off, we'll get this sent away to be reconditioned and get it fitted back to the vehicle, I think. Well, that's another one done and dusted for this week. More resistors and some things that were out of my hands, such as the ECU. Seems all I've done is fix Leyland's finest since coming back from holiday. They're certainly keeping me busy, that's for sure. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the like button if you thought this was a good video. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next upload, and I'll see you next time.